As a salon or spa owner, cosmetology school gave you the skills to serve clients, but it definitely didn't teach you how to run a business. Somewhere along the way, you probably thought ownership would mean freedom, but instead you're working more hours than ever, barely paying yourself, and low-key worried everything's going to fall apart the second you step away. Welcome to the Beauty Biz Breakdown, where we give you the real strategies, systems, and structure that you need to fully step into the CEO seat in your beauty business. Hey, welcome back to the Beauty Biz Breakdown, the podcast for salon and spa owners who want to build a more profitable, more predictable beauty business. I'm Brie, and as always, I've got the amazing Shander here with me today. Hey, girl.
Oh, hello.
How are you?
Doing good. We've had a lot of crazy storms last night, so we had to clean up our backyard this morning. There's lots of...
The weather this year has been insane.
Yeah, it's been crazy. So we had all our cushions from our patio furniture was all over the place, and I didn't think it was going to blow away because it's under the patio, and but it was still in the middle of the yard this morning, so that was fun, but all good. Nothing major happened.
I mean, that's a good thing. You know, last time we had a bad storm, the tornado blew my door open, broke it, and broke my jaw. So there you go. It's been one of those years.
Nothing like that for sure. Just a big mess.
Well, at least you guys are safe. That's all that matters. Awesome. Well, today I'm going to start off with kind of a vent sesh because I have kind of officially had it with everything right now. I just feel like client expectations in the beauty industry are literally at an all-time high, but their budgets are pretty much at an all-time low. I think it's annoying. I think it's extremely frustrating. And I think there's only one thing to blame. So let's get into it. How about it?
Sounds good.
All right. So the thing that has my gears grinding, I guess you could say right now, and what I am blaming my bad mood on is social media, plain and simple. And before somebody tries to come at me and says, but Brie, you use social media. Yeah, I do. I also drive a car and complain about traffic. Two things can be true at the same time, right? Obviously, social media has done a lot of good for the beauty industry. I know it has. It's helped beauty professionals find clients, showcase their work, learn from people they probably would have never had the opportunity or access to before, and just help them build their businesses all the way around. But it has also made some of the most unrealistic crap look completely normal. And apparently, every single human on earth has decided that if something is posted on TikTok or on Instagram, it has to be 100% true. So it's just annoying the crap out of me, and I think we should talk about it. Chandra, are you finding this a little bit annoying right now?
Every day. I feel like we have some sort of situation, not like a major situation, but something comes up in the salon regarding this, I feel like every single day.
Yeah, 100%. One of the things that we are finding that's kind of annoying in my salon right now is the terminology. I feel like everybody has learned a whole new beauty vocabulary from social media. You know, clients used to come into the salon and they would say, hey, I want to be lighter, but I don't want to see like a harsh line when it grows out. That gave the stylist a place to start. They could do a great consultation. She could ask questions, look at the hair, figure out the best way to create what that client wanted. But now somebody sits down and she says she wants this lived-in, high contrast, low maintenance balayage with a root melt, a money piece, teasy lights, and absolutely no warmth. Like, it's crazy. I mean, the only thing our stylist can say is, okay, well, you just combined 6 different TikTok videos that you saw, and half of what you're asking for does not even create the result that you were showing me. Sometimes the client uses the right term. I'll give you that, but it does not mean what they think it means half the time. Other times I feel like they're just repeating the name or the trend that somebody else invented, because apparently in this day and age, we can't just call brown hair brunette anymore. It's insane. We have teddy bear brunette and brownie butter brunette and expensive brunette, or whatever flavor of brunette the internet decides that is, popular this week. Now, look, I do not necessarily think there's anything wrong with clients wanting to understand the service, Chandra. I really don't. That part, it can be helpful in certain ways. It's the amount of confidence that comes with knowing 1/3 of the information that really bothers me. They're not saying, I heard about this or I saw this and I like it. Can you explain if it would work for me? No, That's not what they're doing. They are saying, this is what I want, this is what I need, and this is how you are supposed to do it. Social media has made a lot of people feel like they know way more than what they actually know. Real talk, I think it does it to all of us, though. You watch enough videos about something and suddenly you start thinking you could probably do it yourself. And I can attest to this a million times over because my husband is the king of YouTube and creating a disaster 2 days later. Like legit, it happens every single week in our house. I think because people say all of this stuff with so much confidence just from watching a video, nobody even questions the people that are recording the video or making the video anymore. A bunch of people will just agree in the comments, and apparently that's all it takes to just become an expert in anything. Chandra, what are some of the terms that you are hearing right now that clients may be using that they either don't really know what they're talking about or probably didn't use, 5 to 10 years ago?
I mean, I definitely think kind of everything you just said, like the TZ lights, the smudge roots, the, cowboy copper, the like all of the things like that, because then they think, and it's like, honestly, like to the stylist, it's just a fine highlight, right? Like we don't, TZ lights and, all these things are, they're the basic services that we've always done, but I feel like social media is giving them that new life to say like, well, this service can only be done this way. And so when they are like, I want a teasy light, and they see the stylist maybe not teasing, or maybe they're taking a little bit of a bigger section because that's going to actually achieve the desired result they want, they start getting upset and they act like, they're not getting what they want, or they think that, we don't know what we're doing. How could we possibly be doing it like this? It's not like the TikTok video.
Yeah, it's extremely frustrating. Like, I'm not behind the chair all the time anymore, but I feel sorry for my team. I really do. I feel sorry for them. I have very professional, very educated, great stylists the same way you do. And I cannot even imagine the heck that they go through every single day because of things like this. I think it is ludicrous. I think it's absurd. And I think everybody just needs to come back to reality just a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. It's very frustrating. And then as the stylist, you feel like you have to be extra educating yourself, even though these are things you know how to do, just on the terminology, just on the things that people are bringing to you. Because when those clients come in, like you said, they think they're experts now. And so if you contradict what they think they know, or you try to tell them something different, then that conversation usually doesn't go super well. So they have to also be fully versed in all of those different technique names, all of those different things, and knowing how to kind of just, whatever the client says, you look at the photo and you're like, okay, yeah, I can achieve that. And you just do it. But you don't want to have that conversation of like, well, that's not actually what you want, because then they think they know and they get upset with you.
Yeah, 100%. I have even seen videos, we're talking about social media, where that they are in a consultation, a hairstylist and a client, and the client will get up and walk out because the stylist is saying, look, this is actually how you achieve that. And with the hair type that you have, or the color that you have, or the 6 years of box color that you're wearing, like, we cannot do this like this. And I just feel really sorry for everybody in our industry right now. I think it really, really sucks. Are you glad you're not behind the chair full time right now?
Well, I mean, I am glad I'm not behind the chair full time right now, but I mean, it's just one of those new things we have to navigate, and it is frustrating. And I mean, I've had to be involved in conversations or consultations, I guess I should say, with some of my stylists when they're starting to lose that conversation and the client's starting to get upset. So I feel like, I've gotten to a point where I'm very good at like, if you want this, you're going to let us do it the way that we do it, or you can just leave. Like, that's it. Good luck. And so I feel like sometimes once clients get put in their place that way, they kind of start to go, okay, fine, I'll let you do it. And then they back off. But it's hard for a newer stylist to have a hard conversation like that, because people, they are coming in with like this sort of, charging mentality that they know exactly how to get from A to B. And it's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. I think another side of this that social media is it's just completely lost its mind is the money side. So let's say a beauty professional posts like a transformation and they share, what she charges or he charges. Before you can even make it through like the first 10 comments, multiple people have already accused this stylist of completely robbing somebody. The comments will read something like, that's just ridiculous. Nobody should ever charge that much. My stylist only charges $150 for that service. And my response is like, okay, and what exactly are we supposed to do with the information that you just gave us in the comment section? Like, you legit just watched a very small part of a service through your phone, mind you. You do not know how long the appointment took, how much product was used, what was included, where the business is located, or the experience level of the person who just performed it. And more than likely, you don't know anything about that professional's expenses. You know what I mean? So how in the heck do you think you can determine what that person should have charged? It completely blows my mind. And something else that I've noticed a lot over the last few years is when people say, you know what, I cannot afford that. And I feel like that has really started to mean that service should not cost that much. And that is a big difference. And it's completely insane because those two things, like, I don't even know how we could confuse those two things, but I've noticed that it means that because my stepmom has more money than she knows what to do with. And she'll even say something like that, but it's completely not true. There are plenty of things in my life that I cannot afford. And there are also things that I can afford, but would never in a million years spend my money on because they're not important enough to me. But that does not mean that the business that is selling them is doing anything wrong. All it means is I'm not buying it, period. And I think there's just a lot of confusion in between those two things. How do you feel about that? And are you noticing that where you live? Because we're in different parts of the country. And so it's very interesting to see what's happening all around.
I mean, we definitely have a lot of that too. And I think the other thing that's frustrating with those conversations in social media is sometimes if somebody had a ton of hair and that balayage you're seeing costs $400 somewhere, right? And you don't have that money, that doesn't mean you can't go into a stylist or a salon and tell them what your budget is, and they can try to work with that and get you as close as they can. And instead, now it's created this stigma in people's minds that if you can't pay $400 for hair, then you can't even walk into a salon. And I think that also is kind of hurting the businesses as well, because we've always been able to work with people on their budget. And so it's like they forget that that's actually an option. And I think it does. And I mean, I definitely on that one blame stylists for that, because there was this trend of them posting $1,000 color services and all this crazy stuff. And I think it did make people feel like it's not worth it to them to go into a salon and to get that color and to pay that much money.
Well, I'm going to agree and disagree with you just a little bit, but I think the reality is beauty services are luxury freaking services. They are not, and they will never be a necessity. They just aren't. Clients and beauty professionals all need to remember that. You can totally go cut your hair in your kitchen with your kitchen scissors if you have to, or you have somebody that can do that for you. That's the reality, right? If a beauty service is not in your budget, that's okay. Nobody needs to like risk getting their electricity shut off over a freaking balayage. That's not happening. But your personal budget does not determine what someone else is allowed to charge. And I think that is so important. And I already know what some people out there are going to say. Well, some beauty professionals are totally overcharging. Yeah, some of them probably are. There are people charging premium prices while delivering average work and a crappy experience. That's the reality. I've seen it. But there is no real way to determine any of that from a 15-second video on TikTok or Instagram and a price in the caption. Like, you just can't do that. I think the thing that really gets me when it comes to all of this is that it's not really even the clients. I mean, they get to choose, right? Where they go, who they go see, kind of like what you just said. They can find a different salon. They have the power. What really ticks me off is when other beauty professionals hop in the conversation. It never fails. You'll see at least 15 of them start piling into the comments, tagging somebody in the video, or even making a video about somebody else. And they're ranting or saying things like, I would never charge my clients that much. I only charge 175. You are literally scamming people. Charging prices like that is why clients don't trust people in the beauty industry anymore. That part annoys me so freaking much because another beauty professional, they should understand this industry. They know how hard it is, and they should definitely know that every single business is different. Your expenses are not their expenses. Your experience is not their experience. Your location, demand, products, the amount of time that it takes to provide the service could be completely different too. And honestly, just because you charge less does not really mean anything at all. A whole lot of people charging way less are really charging incorrectly. Chandra and I know this because we work with people all the time who are working their butts off and not making any money. Some people brag about being cheaper while panicking every single time their rent is due. It is a business. It's a business. I don't understand it, Chandra. It's annoying. And I know I'm rambling, but it just gets on my nerves completely. How do you feel about other stylists getting into the comment section?
Yeah, no, 100% same way you feel about it. You don't know somebody else's situation. You don't know, and maybe like you said, they're living like, check to check and they're barely making ends meet and they can't afford, to necessarily always even stock what they need to stock. And it's like, if you're that person, then you have no reason to be chiming in on that conversation whatsoever, because that just because you're cheaper, like, I don't know. I also feel like, why would you even want to be the cheap stylist? Like, why would you even chime in on that? Like, I wouldn't go to the cheap stylist because I would be afraid that they probably aren't as good. So I don't know. Silly.
Yeah, it's so funny. My daughter and I were driving the other day. We were messing around and driving, and we got at the stoplight and we looked over and there was like the salon, and it was shady. Don't get me wrong. And it was like $7 haircuts. And I think it was like a $28 partial highlight or something like this. And my daughter was like, Mom. And I was like, what? She was like, I would never walk into that place. Like, there is no way that I would walk in and get a service in that salon. And it is true. You don't want to be the cheapest option. Like, you just don't want to. One of the other things that I notice with people that complain about other stylists charging too much is they say, or they use the excuse that you don't care about your clients if you're charging, too much. And I think that's just completely bogus. When you say that, you're essentially saying that if people charge differently than you do, then they're doing something wrong and they don't care about their clients at all. That's insane. That's like saying that there is a certain dollar amount that professionals make yearly. And once they hit that goal or make that 300K a year, or whatever it is, that they're officially buttheads or something because they did something great. Who thinks like that? Do you see how ludicrous that sounds? Here's the thing, guys. You can love your clients, appreciate them, appreciate their loyalty, and still charge enough to run a healthy freaking business. That's the entire point. All right, Chandra, why do you think beauty professionals are just so quick to publicly criticize other professionals in every single way? I will never understand this.
I mean, honestly, I think some of it is because a lot of stylists or a lot of people in this industry, they have this mentality that they're like terrified to raise their prices. They're terrified to do these things. And I think they're sort of jealous when they see somebody that's charging that and they're like, how on earth could you do that? And then they're the ones that think for the client's wallet instead of just thinking for their business or just, offering an amazing service. I think the ones that really shouldn't be charging a lot are the ones, like you said, that are charging a lot, but they're not doing good work and they're not giving a good experience. And that's definitely a problem because people on those channels will pipe in and say, I spent $300 for this and look, my hair's not even good. And they'll post pictures and it's not even good. And so I can understand situations like that, but I think they're jealous. I think they're afraid to do it themselves. So they're going to criticize anybody else who's doing it.
I agree with that. I think you made a really good point. And I think that's really awesome. Something else that has clients getting like these unrealistic expectations right now and annoys me again is the AI photos, because I think clients are bringing them into salons as inspiration, and the client doesn't realize that those pictures are completely fake as crap, right? They don't understand that at all. I know your team has to be seeing this. My team is seeing this. How difficult is it for the average client or even some beauty professionals to tell what's real and what's fake anymore?
I mean, I think a lot of the photos are fake now. And so I think majority of them that come in, I mean, for me, the AI photos, they can be annoying, but we just tell people like this realistically, yeah, sure, maybe I could get you here, but it's going to take X, Y, Z, C, D, L, M, N, O, P, right, to get there because your hair is not even remotely in a state to do that. And so I think it's still just having those conversations. What frustrates me that we've had happen, and I think I might have talked about this before, is when people ask ChatGPT how to get their hair to whatever that picture is. And then ChatGPT gives them a whole plan of what they should do. And they've been bringing that into our stylists and saying, I want you to do all of these steps, to get my hair this color. And it's an AI photo. And they're using AI to give them all the steps. And it's not really accurate. AI doesn't have the backstory. Even if you put the backstory in, it's not always an accurate picture. And so for me, that's the most frustrating thing with AI is when people are asking it and putting pictures in there and asking it how they can be this picture, and it tells them, yes, of course, that will look amazing on you, because AI is always going to boost your ego, right? And so then they extra think this is like the thing to do. And so that one is, that's going to be something we're going to have to battle, I think, more and more and more coming up. But it's definitely, that one's challenging.
Yeah, and it's so funny that you say that because I had a client that actually did that, like one of my longtime clients. I don't do her hair all the time anymore, but she sent me something that she had plugged into AI and I was like, "Look, you've trusted us forever. Why don't you just put AI down for a little bit and let us do our thing? I mean, we've been seeing you for, 15 years now and never made a mistake." But also, anytime you type anything to AI, there's always the disclaimer at the bottom that it makes mistakes all the freaking time. Why would you trust that with your health, with your hair, with your skin, with anything super serious? It blows my mind. It's crazy. But I think you're right. I think this is a new battle that we're going to have to face. And I think it's going to get worse and worse and worse as AI is growing. So I agree with that. As we were kind of talking about that, I started thinking about something else that's kind of really screwing everybody's perception right now in the beauty industry. And that is the kind of content that social media keeps putting in front of us. I mean, let's be honest, the normal, reasonable version of anything rarely gets very much attention, right? I mean, nobody's going viral for posting, I went to my hair appointment today. My stylist did exactly what we discussed. I absolutely love the result. I paid the price that I was quoted. I rebooked before I left, and now I'm at home and I'm extremely happy. If a client were to post something like that, she would probably get 4 views and 2 of them would be like her mom and her sister. It's not going to go over well. And at the same time, beauty professionals are not getting millions of views for saying things like, my client showed up on time today. She was cool. She had realistic expectations. She loved her hair at the end of the appointment. She didn't try to bargain the price. She pre-booked before she left. You know what I mean? Those are the appointments, though, that are happening inside of our salons every single day. That's normal life. But because there is no drama attached to them, nobody's pissed off. Nobody's threatening to call their attorney. And they're not going to get thousands of strangers fighting in the comments over something like that. So those videos and posts just aren't going to do as well. I just think the content that gets pushed out is the stuff that makes people stop scrolling and say, oh my gosh, did you see that? You know what I mean? It's the worst appointments, the wildest claims, and the most extreme situations, because that's the stuff people want to watch, share, and talk about. And it's so freaking annoying to me. But I think when we see those situations over and over again, we naturally just start believing that they're happening everywhere all the time. But that's not true. I know that's not true. The reality is we're seeing the small percentage of situations that were dramatic enough for somebody to pull out their phone, turn them into content, or share the content with others. We're not seeing that realistic picture of what's happening across the country in the beauty industry every single day. Chandra, do you think seeing these extreme situations like over and over again has made both clients and beauty professionals really believe they are way more common than what they actually are?
Yeah, I definitely think that they do. And the other thing that's frustrating about that is I think in our world, right? Like it has diminished us as a professional career. We're not looked at as a professional career anymore, where we used to be more like, obviously we're not doctors, but it was like more of, I trust my hairstylist. She's a professional. She's at this higher level. She's educated. she knows, all these things. They put that trust in you. And now it's like, we're not a professional. We're just here to do these services for you. And we're just here to, whatever. And that's why also I think retail has gone down a lot for salons and stylists, because they're seeing all that stuff and they don't want to buy from you anymore. They think you're just like trying to sell them crap. And it's lost that professionalism. So then you start losing the battle in the pricing. You start losing the battle in the home care. You start losing the battle in what you can do and perform, because now it's just looked down upon instead of, being held at that higher standard.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. But I think everybody is to blame for that. And I think we as a profession have done that to ourselves more than anything. And I think that's what really, really makes me angry about the entire situation is, we sit and complain about it now, or a lot of people do, maybe the younger generation of stylists. And you and I, who have been in the industry forever, are sitting here like, you guys did this to yourself. Like, you jumped in, you started with everything, and now you want to complain about it. You're going to have to do something to actually fix it. You are going to have to see yourself as a professional, make the experience as professional as possible, and lead and navigate the client journey through every single part. Is that how you feel about it a little bit?
Yeah, a million percent for sure.
Absolutely. So one of the last things that I want to bring up today is that I think social media has turned client complaints into this form of public entertainment. And honestly, this is where it kind of goes way too far for me. Let's say a client posts a story, a video, whatever, about an appointment, right? And within minutes, the comment section has already decided who's right, who's wrong, who deserves like a refund, and who should absolutely lose their license. Meanwhile, nobody watching or commenting was even there at that appointment. They weren't there for any part of it. They don't know what was discussed before the service, what the client actually came in with, what happened, between the client and the business afterward. They heard one person's version of what happened, and they immediately started handing down sentences like they had been personally involved. Now, don't get me wrong. There are absolutely times, I get it, when a client has been treated horribly or they have received an unsafe service, maybe. There are beauty professionals who refuse to take responsibility when they should. And clients, they have every right to speak about something that actually happened to them, right? And to give their version of the experience. But if you're going to publicly accuse a business of doing something wrong, what you share has to be true. And you cannot leave out important details just because they don't support your version of what happened. We all know that we've watched videos where some pretty important details suddenly come out after that original post has already gone viral. The client said she was never warned about something, and then messages show that she absolutely was warned. She says the salon refused to help her, and then the owner shares a video with screenshots of like multiple attempts that were made to bring her back in, to adjust things, to do everything the right way. But of course, the updates from the salon owner, they never reach nearly as many people as the original accusation did. It's just crazy. And then you have people from all over the country and sometimes all over the world running over to Google to leave a review for the business that they have never been to, never stepped foot in that salon or spa. You've never received a service there, never met the owner, never spoken to a single employee. You simply watched a TikTok, heard one side of the story, and decided that you were qualified to publicly review a business that you have never been to. How does that make sense? And why in the heck would anyone with an ounce of integrity do that? Why would you ever leave a review for a business that you've never been to? I don't agree. I don't care how angry the video made you or how convinced you are that you know exactly what happened. Making up a review just to damage somebody's business is wrong. It's not ethical. It's not okay. And I don't understand how people can do it.
I think it's crazy. I think it's so weird how connected we get to watching these videos. Like, we think we personally know the person in the video, and we think, oh my gosh, like, I gotta help her, or I gotta like do this stuff. And it's like, you don't even know this person. And again, like you said, you don't even know what actually happened in that service. Like, how many times in our industry are the services that people actually want take 3 or 4 different steps to get to the end result? And I see this all the time where the first step is not going to get you there. And maybe it's not going to be the best color in the world that you might have to live with for a little bit, but that's what's going to get you to the next step. And people will post stuff after that first step, just like, look at my hair is this color and it's this, and they screwed it up. And then you find out later that the stylist and them had a plan to get them from A to B, but you can't instantly get there and keep the hair on your head. And that's what people forget about. And so then you have the people that are like, oh my gosh, and they get crazy when they see those videos and think that they personally are involved in this situation. And people just need to stay in their lane. Like, social media should be for fun, maybe some little bits of, information that might be good out there, or just mainly for fun. Like, I just don't see the point of getting so worked up over something that you're not even part of or involved in. Like, I have a hard time getting people to take action to leave reviews when they have a great experience, but yet all these crazy people out there go and do it for someone they don't even know.
Absolutely. And in a matter of seconds, a bunch of complete strangers decide they are going to completely destroy that reputation of that business or business owner because of a video. It just drives me nuts. The thing is the people leaving those reviews too, they don't care. They get to move on with their day. They don't have to deal with the damage that they caused. And most of them will probably forget the business even existed by the following week. You know what I mean? But the owner, they don't forget. We don't forget. We're left trying to clean up this mess that's created by people who have never been a client for us. I think beauty professionals are hyper aware of all of that right now. And business owners are silently terrified every single day. I really do. They know anything they do, good or bad, can be recorded, posted, and turned into content that is possibly completely edited and untrue. And that can be shown to the entire universe, who is going to quickly judge it or have something to say about it. It scares me. It's so bad. Some clients will even come into a salon and like bully people and say, you know what? I have a platform. Like, they threaten us to make sure they get whatever they want. And that is gross to me. Like, it's gross. It gives me the ick. And as human beings, we should be ashamed of some of the things that we do, I think. Chandra, as salon owners, how does it make you feel knowing that you can spend years building a great business like you have, protecting its reputation with everything that you have in you, but one person could potentially post and edit a version of one experience, send it to thousands of strangers? How does that make you feel after everything that you've put into building your business?
Yeah, I mean, it's heartbreaking. It's frustrating. It makes you feel like you're held hostage by, people sometimes. And I think it does. I mean, you pour your heart and soul into something, or even as just the stylist too, like, they put all the work and the effort in. And I think between, both the owner, or the person doing the work, it's like, it's very disheartening, and it is scary. And I think that's one of the biggest things that, people are afraid of, and they sometimes let clients do things they shouldn't do because you're so terrified of them destroying your entire business.
Yeah, it's scary. It's terrifying. I hate it, and I don't think it's okay. I was scrolling on social media yesterday for some reason, and I think that's what kind of got me fired up about all of this, but it is literally a page on TikTok where they go in and find a video or see a video that deals with a business where they didn't have a good experience, and they recruit people to go and leave bad reviews. Do people have no freaking life anymore? Like, that's what I want to know, because I sure as heck don't have time to be doing that crap. Like, I am surprised I even watched the whole video, but it literally made me sick at my stomach to even think that people are doing things like this. And it was a small business, husband and wife, and I think maybe brother or brother-in-law that owned this small business. And they had spent years, building this business, and they weren't rich by any means. They were barely getting by every month, but they loved their business, had fun doing it. And their reputation is going to be ruined now, going to be ruined. And I just don't think it's right. But I think we've probably said enough about this for today. And we could probably talk about it for hours and hours before something else ticks me off. Let's wrap it up really quickly. So before we go, guys, if you own a salon or spa and you are ready and need some help maybe figuring out what is and what is not working inside of your beauty business, head over to our website, thebeautybizagency.com. You can grab some of our free resources, check out our coaching options. You can even book a free strategy call with our team so that we can look with you and see what we could help you with. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure that you share it with another salon owner and make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss out on what we have coming up next. Chandra, how do they do that?
Make sure you're following us on all social media platforms, on Instagram at the Beauty Biz Agency, on Facebook, and on TikTok at the Beauty Biz Mentors. And shoot us a message. We'd love to hear from you. And if this is something that hits home for you and you feel like your business has been affected by some of these things, we'd love to hear about it and maybe share some of those stories.
Absolutely. We didn't get to our listener question today, but we will get to that next week for sure. Guys, if you have some time, please leave us a 5-star review. It does help more beauty pros find the show. With that being said, that's a wrap on today's episode of the Beauty Biz Breakdown. Until next time, trust your experience, know your numbers, because that is what we preach at the BBA, and do not let people who have never stepped foot inside your business tell you how to run it. Now go out there, make bank, run the show, and ditch that chair. And as always, keep slaying those business goals with a whole lot of swagger. If this episode lit a fire under you, don't just walk away and let it die out. Deep down, you already know where you want your business and your life to go. And the truth is, the only thing standing between where you are and where you want to be is a real plan to get you there. That's exactly what we help you build. So if you're ready to stop trying to figure it out on your own, head to thebeautybizagency.com and book your free strategy call. That call can give you the clarity that you've been needing and a real plan to move your business forward. Because at the end of the day, the only thing standing between you and the salon business you've been dreaming about is whether or not you're willing to take the action and the steps in order to build it.